Now it is our pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Doreen Dodgen-Magee. Doreen is a clinical psychologist, speaker, and author whose work has been featured in the Washington Post, the New York Times, and Time magazine. She is highly regarded for her passion for helping people live rich, complex, embodied lives with technology as a side dish, not an entree. She brings a dynamic and approachable set of tools for using tech in the healthiest ways. Doreen's talks are fast-paced, packed with illuminative video, stimulating audio, and kinesthetic ideas. They are full of exceptional research and audience-centric moments that hold the attention of middle schoolers through senior citizens. A comment following a talk of hers is, "I could have listened to you all day. Where can I get more?" Please join me in welcoming Dr. Doreen Dodgen-Magee.
Graduates, you have spent so much time and energy getting to today. And then today, you have likely expended all kinds of energy on just logistics, right? Getting your parents parked where they're supposed to be parked, making sure everybody knew where they were going, getting all the pictures with your favorite faculty, right? So for just a moment, I want to encourage you to check in with yourself. Seriously, for just a minute, take a deep breath in. If you want to close your eyes, you can do that too. Take a deep breath in and pull all your attention inside of yourself for just a few seconds. How do you feel on this incredible day? Can you access feelings of pride for this thing that you have accomplished? Can you send a bit of gratitude to those who have helped you? There is an overabundance of research that illuminates the fact that an ability to tap into this central part of your being for validation and insight can lead to a greater sense of contentment in life. In my work, I call this living from an internal locus of control, where your greatest place of comfort and of empowerment come from a solid and reliable sense of self. This way of living is harder than ever to achieve. It's hard for me, it's hard for you, and it's going to be hard for your students and clients and the communities that you serve. In the 15 years that I spent doing research for the book that I wrote and that was released last year on balancing life and technology, some of my favorite conversations around research tables happened with students much like yourselves. Over bottomless cups of coffee, we would talk about social media and video games, AI, VR, 3D printing. And what shocked me was that nearly every single conversation moved very quickly away from technology and toward the intense pressure that results from being expected to be available all day, every day. The pressure to manage so many constantly changing, always needed things. There's your LinkedIn profile to update and your portfolio to add to, your emails pile up while texts flow in, and this is all just for work and study, right? Never mind your Twitch or your YouTube channel, the desire to stay connected to your friends, the shows to watch, the memes to share, the games to master. Perhaps most importantly for you are the volunteer opportunities that you want to stay in touch with online. You are incredible at organizing and influencing and harnessing all the potential of digital spaces to fight for a more just and equitable world in which all people can thrive. All this means that you're spending a lot of time on your devices trying to keep up, right? And that means that those of us outside of your reality often talk absolute smack about you as distracted, entitled, addicted digital natives, right? All the while, we're just pouring on more things for you to keep on top of in the very platforms that we criticize you for being in. On behalf of my generation, I want to say that I am truly sorry. While technology has enhanced and benefited many parts of our lives, it's clear that it has also caused us to attend to external sources of reinforcement, success, and failure in ways that have never been experienced in human history. If our feeds are perfect and we're excelling in all of our games, all is well, right? Never mind the state of our internal world. Of course, this isn't simply a function of technology. It's human nature to want to kind of look okay on the outside and to meet all the external expectations that have been set for us. It is much easier to live from an external locus of control than it is to live from an internal one. Long before technology fed this tendency, I was in graduate school beginning my doctoral program, where I began with one goal in mind, and that was to be the star pupil of the entire decade. I'm sure some of you can relate to this, I hope. I was very serious about doing well and about meeting all the external expectations. And by the time finals came, sleeping and eating were low on my priority list. I wasn't working out, I wasn't socializing, and I was studying far more hours than I needed to just to try to manage my anxiety. Can any of you guys relate to this? Yes? It's okay to laugh and nod your heads. The night before my last exam, which was to be proctored by a highly esteemed, professionally lauded, and very serious professor, I ended up in the hospital severely dehydrated. I was so anxious about disappointing my professor and failing my exam that I kept trying to get everyone in the hospital to release me. Finally, the attending physician gave me a shot of a very strong anti-anxiety medication, which knocked me immediately out and sent me home. Once I was deposited in my bed, I made my way to a phone, which was hard because they were attached to walls in those days, to call my professor. While I remember nothing of this call, given the medication in my system, he was very happy to tell me, in front of a lecture hall full of students, that I had left a 5-minute verbally slurry and mostly incomprehensible message filled with I'm sorries and labored declarations of my shortcomings that ended with me affecting a weird and bubbly voice and saying, I love you. I was mortified. I tell you this story because I imagine you can relate to the desire to look dialed in and on top of things, even if you aren't. Technology exploits this tendency. Your jobs, your friends, and the causes that you're passionate about are going to ask that you keep simultaneously in touch with all of them, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And your tech, it's actually going to allow you the opportunity to do so. It is crucial, however, that starting today, starting right now, to push back on this expectation in whatever ways you can. The quality of all your pursuits in life will be enhanced or restricted by the way in which you tend to and care for your relationship with yourself. Your ability to tolerate boredom will actually be will make your ability to be creative far better. The simple act of paying attention to how much time you spend on social media has the ability to decrease agitation, anxiety, and fears of missing out. Simply walking away from your video game for 10 minutes out of every hour of play will actually allow you a greater sense of emotional and physiological regulation. There's even research that shows that when we digitally multitask, we perform at an IQ level 10 points below our actual IQ. What this means is that if you're tempted to email a parent or a supervisor or an administrator or a teacher while you're watching YouTube, you might as well let an 8-year-old write that email for you. Being able to turn away from devices will allow you to do the important work of creating an internal locus of control. This will afford you the ability to tolerate discomfort and failures and to be appropriately proud of your successes. These skills will serve and save you. 4 years after my doctoral entrance and my experience in the emergency room, I was facing into my big comprehensive exams. Now, my friends and I were not necessarily mascots for living from an internal locus of control. We tended more toward the Hermione book-smart end of things. And we decided that we'd chronicle our preparation for this milestone event photographically. We figured that we'd have proof of how hard we worked, and in case we forgot, the photos of the big bags under our eyes in the middle of the night study sessions and the general level of untended to personal hygiene would serve as evidence. Now, this was before digital photography existed, where we had to take actual rolls of film to the store to be developed. So about a week after comps, when I showed up at the photo counter, I opened the back flap of my camera, only to realize a shocking absence of film. There would be no photos. It turns out the memories of that time only live within me, and I've come to believe that this is better, even maybe more sacred, than having them live outside of me. So how about you? Do the memories of your time here at Portland State live inside of you? Have you spent much time integrating them into the very core of your being? Have you invested the feedback of professors and classmates who helped you grow and develop? Have you banked the experiences where you met your limits and persisted, or the failures that propelled you toward success? It's important to internalize all of these things and make them a part of your working memory at least as much as this day. The Portland State University College of Education is the largest and most comprehensive school of education in Oregon. It prepares more teachers and counselors and administrators for licensure than any other institution in our state. This means that you make up the largest group of educational influencers in Oregon. You. And I mean every single one of you, are the very person that will change the lives of those that you interact with. There are students and clients and teachers and administrators waiting for exactly who you are, because you bring precisely what they need. So let's take just a moment and get ready for this work. Let's just practice for just a minute. Maybe we should all stand to do this. And if your phone is in your hand, put it down. Put it on your seat or on the floor. But give a stand if you can, or if you feel like it. The rest of you can join us if you'd like. All right, let's take a deep breath in. Collectively, inhale your attention all the way into the core of your being. Go along with me here. Close your eyes if you need to. Identify one or two things that make you exceedingly proud of yourself today. If you can, make these things more about your character and less about accomplishments. Now shift your attention and identify a person or two to whom you are grateful. Literally try to send that gratitude across the airwaves to that person or people. Now with a big, hearty exhale, look at those around you. These are your co-celebrants, and this is you in your real life. Make an effort, literally a physical effort, to soak up all the joy and relief and inspiration in this space, to take with you as you live your boring, beautiful, awkward, stunning, unique, stretching, bold, fiery, painful, extraordinary, very real life.